Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode on the Glory Reds FC. It is your boy Don Benito today doing the match preview of Galatasaray and Manchester United. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress how important this game is. If we have any chance, if we want any chance of getting into that of qualifying, we need to beat Galatasaray. Now, it's not going to be easy. Galatasaray is a very, very hostile place. Those guys love their football. They are going to make sure that their team is fully supported. So we need to come prepared. I don't want to say we need to go with the same attitude that we had when we went to Copenhagen, but when we went to Copenhagen, just before we went back and forth with those goals, when we started off that game, everything was good. So we need that. We need more than that. We need all the players to step up. And so let's jump right into it. So this press conference was very, very interesting because I like it when like when the journalists ask interesting questions or serious questions or important questions. Not why is this player not involved when we all know why he's not involved, or why is this player not there or that. I don't like those questions. I like the questions that were the gaffer was asked, even Bruno, our captain. So one of the first things that were talked about was, I think, Bruno's captaincy. People are, and I want to address this. I don't understand where this hate or where this aggression is coming from with regards to Bruno Fernandes. He is our captain. He was our captain last season, even though he was not officially the captain. He wore the armband 80% of last season. We didn't complain when everything was going well. Yes, we complained against the Liverpool game when we got thrashed. But that's just how Bruno is. When we bought Bruno from Sporting Lisbon, we knew the kind of player that he was. I knew that he was a petulant player. I knew he liked to, I don't want to say complain, but that's just how he is. He cares and he can't help but express himself. So I don't really have a problem with that. Bruno is still a star player for Manchester United. So he mentioned that, like when he arrived at Manchester United, everything was good. He was a new shiny toy, so everybody obviously gravitated towards him. And a lot has happened since Bruno arrived at Manchester United. A lot has happened. And we can't sit here and think that it was going to be the same, even though that's what we wanted. We need to be very realistic about everything that concerns Manchester United. He was asked about the question about the penalty, and I thought that was a very interesting answer that he gave because it also emphasized my belief in Bruno Fernandes. I know a lot of you were thinking, I don't want to assume what you guys were thinking, but in my mind, when I heard that Bruno gave Marcus Rashford the penalty, and then when he answered it today, he said, "Look, Marcus Rashford is our talisman." I mean, he didn't say it in these particular words that I'm using, but he was saying he's our talisman. He hasn't scored. The last time he scored was against Arsenal, and that's one goal. And that's not normal for Marcus Rashford. We've been complaining about Marcus Rashford. I'm sure some of you even complained about him against Everton, which is very normal because he was just not doing Rashford things. The Rashford of last season and this season are completely two different players. So the complaints are very valid. But what he said was that, and it also comes in football. Every player, especially the goal scorers, it just takes one moment to get back that goal scoring feeling. And Bruno answered his answer like he answered the question very, very well. He said that two people on that list. And I just felt like because Rashford hasn't scored so many goals, we need to build his confidence. That's why I gave him the penalty. It's for the team. It's about the team. There's no I in the word team. And that just shows the kind of mentality that he is. He cares about his team. He knows that if Rashford gets that feeling of scoring, we might just get that Rashford back. Now, I don't think Maguire as a as a captain, would have addressed this or would have said something like this. But then it just shows into the character of Bruno Fernandes, and I'm very, very pleased about that. Um, they were asked about the player availabilities, Anthony, Rasmus Holland, and the gaffer in his 10 art style was just very quick to answer. They are available. They are going to be part of the squad, and I'm very, very happy. I need to mention that a lot of you were probably surprised why we didn't start Aaron Wan-Bissaka against Everton. I have this very strange feeling that he was rested for this game. Because this game, I think the gaffer is going to go all out. The gaffer is going to bring out all the big guns. I'm talking Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka on the flanks, on those wing backs. I don't know if Varane is going to play. I really, really don't know. But it is something very interesting to to think about. But I still think that Maguire is going to maintain his position and Lindelof because the gaffer seems to go with players that he trusts. You know what I mean? He wants to build a certain consistency. In the previous episode, I mentioned I tried to debunk the Varane and Eric Ten Hag situation. Varane was injured. Came on, started off. He didn't start off very, very well. Then came off injured. And we know Varane. He was in the chopping. He was on the medicine table for a very, very long time. He's always going in and out. And I'm assuming the manager wanted to build some sort of consistency because consistency is key. When you get a lot of the players, like a lot of your senior players or your first team players, playing week in, week out, you build a sort of chemistry and formation. I'm sure you guys that play FIFA, you guys understand what I'm talking about. You need to build some sort of rhythm, familiarity. These players need to know, this guy does this guy does that. And Eric Ten Hag has not been able to have that. Now, I'm not saying that Varane is not part of that, because Varane is a world class player. He's a world class defender. However, things have just soured out. And it's almost as if like Varane needs to fight his way back in. And if people are going to jump on the gaffer because of that, then you need to remember that I think the gaffer has been consistent with a lot of players, except maybe Rashford. I don't know if Rashford has been injured and then just came in immediately. But a lot of the players, if you lose your spot or if you don't play very well, he tends to um, I don't want to say he tends to take you out or put you out of place, but that would be wrong for me to say. But he always tries to chop and change to find ways to fix things. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately for Varane, when he got injured at the time, and then when things started, because remember also, it was a very chaotic period for Manchester United. The beginning of the season, right up until this moment, like, let's not forget what has happened. Let's us not forget because we tend to do that. And when we forget that, we always try to ask ourselves, hey, why is this? Nah, Varane was injured and we needed players. Fortunately for us, Maguire, I mean, one thing I will give Maguire props for is that even when we bought him during Ole, he's fit. He will remain fit. Whether his form dips or goes up, he will remain fit. I think you can count with one hand how many times one Harry Maguire has been injured ever since he's been at Manchester United. It's not a lot. You can literally count with one hand how many times he's been in and out of the bench. Now with Varane, you can't say that. Now I'm not saying that that is the excuse as to why he's benching Varane. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when Varane got injured, we were in a crisis. We were getting battered. Harry Maguire comes in, plays decent, and then maintains it. That's how I see it. Maintains it. The gaffer feels comfortable with him. The gaffer feels confident with him. The gaffer trusts him and leaves him on there. And that happens to be where Varane plays because he doesn't want to play Harry Maguire on the left side, so he plays him on the right. So who will play on the left? Because he doesn't trust Varane playing on the left side, which is why people are asking themselves, wait, we don't understand the tactical reasons as to why you did it, why you benched him during Man City. He benched him during Man City because, first of all, he had to work his way back into the squad. And then He just doesn't trust him playing on the left. And he's got other players that he would rather play on the left, e.g., Evans and Lindelof. And if Luke Shaw was fit, he probably would have put Luke Shaw there. So it's a very delicate situation when it comes to Varane and the gaffer. But I believe that they're going to come to some sort of conclusion or amicable agreement. Like they're gonna come up with something that benefits everybody, be it Varane and us. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't understand what's going on. I do feel bad because I believe that Varane is a world class player. It's a world class defender. Having Varane in our squad is a plus. So him not being part of the squad is, and him being there and still not being able to feature, it's just going to rub people the wrong way. Unfortunately for us, we're just going to have to listen to the gaffer and trust him. He talked about Kobe Mainoo. They asked him, "Is Kobe Mainoo, since he played very well against Everton, is he going to be part of the squad against Galatasaray?" 100%. You know, that question I actually thought was a very silly one, but I also understand it. Silly in the sense that Kobe Mainoo has graduated. He's part of the squad. Maybe the one that asked the question wasn't really a Manchester United fan and wouldn't understand that Kobe Mainoo is ready to play for Man United. Like he's there. The game against Everton this past weekend, man, really? This boy was playing there like he has been playing there. And how old is he? 18, 17? He's a kid. But the maturity was just immense. And I just can't stop heaping praise on this kid. I am stoked. I would have loved, like in a very fantasy world, I would have loved to see Kobe Mainoo and James Garner in that midfield. No, we got rid of Garner, but I'm just saying, imagine with this midfield crisis that we're going through, imagine Garner and Mainoo in that position. Box to box players, players that can hold, players that we were going out there trying to spend money on bringing in. We had them with them. We had them with us. We sold one. One unfortunately got injured, but he's back. So Kobe Mainoo is going to feature. He was asked about Facundo Pelestri, and for me, the Facundo Pelestri one is something that I will just keep on asking myself over and over again. But I respect the gaffer. I'm not a manager. I'm not going to sit here and say this, but the manager gave his answer, and he said Facundo needs to transition from becoming a bench player into a regular first team player. Now, do people understand what that means? Maybe some don't, but I'm gonna try and explain it to you because at the same time, I also don't understand. Because we had the same problem with Mason Greenwood when he first started coming on. We were asking ourselves, why isn't Greenwood starting? He is doing the business every single time he comes on the pitch. He's doing the business. Why is he not starting? It's the same thing that's going on with Facundo right now. Facundo's playing for Uruguay. He's a starter. Marcel Bielsa trusts this kid, you know. But Uruguay and Manchester United are two different entities, completely two different things. You could easily say that Manchester United carries more weight than Uruguay, even though Uruguay is the national team. But it's true. Manchester United carries more weight than that. So he said that he needs to transition from becoming this bench player coming in and transition into starting. I don't know how he thinks Facundo is going to do that. But the only thing I can wish is Facundo to remain hungry, remain humble, put his head down and just work because the opportunities will come. And you look at the senior players, you look at Rashford, you look at everybody now that's occupying that right flank where Facundo plays. Anthony, poor. Rashford, I don't even want to talk about it because I've said my piece again about Rashford. I'm not happy. I was singing his praises last season, but this season I'm just not. And that doesn't mean that I don't like Rashford. No, I love Rashford. He is a Mancunian. He is an academy player. There is a certain loyalty and a certain love that comes with homegrown players, players that come from the academy. We love them. So it makes no sense that we're sitting here and wondering why Rashford is getting all these chances. Like, it makes no sense. I have scratched my head, and until the gaffer, I mean, there was a game where the gaffer just came in and said pretty much just said that Gap, you like it or not, Rashford is going to start. He's going to play. So we understood that Rashford is a favorite. I don't want to say he's Eric Ten Hag's favorite because it's gonna create some sort of tension within the base. But he is amongst the favorite. He is amongst those that is believed to turn things around. I think maybe they're using the same mentality with Harry Maguire, Wan Bissaka, or even Rashford from last season. Like, yo, get dig deep, get yourself together. Let's win this. I don't know if that's the mentality, but Rashford is always going to play. I do believe that Facundo coming into the squad or starting is going to actually change it. The youngsters, they play with no fear. They play not caring who you are. That's what I love about youngsters. They've got a lot to prove. They've got a lot to show. They've got a lot of energy. So, and you even saw it when Facundo came on against Everton. You saw it. You saw it. Came in, changed things a little bit. I'm happy with that. I don't know if that's gonna warrant him a start. I would be. I don't know. I don't know. But one thing I can say is that Facundo, I'm gonna keep on supporting him. This kid is. When we bought him at the time, you can imagine the amount of loans he's been out on. Because we're like, nah, we need to get him ready. Every other team in the Premier League, they give chances to their youngsters. We just have this thing about us. I can never explain it. I can't. I can't. I think Garnacho Garnacho, and I mean, we're still yet to see Kobe Mainoo play more games, but Garnacho is one youngster. Mason Greenwood didn't even get this. He didn't get this in his sort of breakout season, even the second season. He didn't get in that sort of first two seasons when he came on. He wasn't getting a lot of game time as much as Garnacho is. So I'm actually happy that Garnacho is actually getting the game time that we believe he deserves. Because man, another thing, you put Garnacho, things happen. You look at that worldie that he scored. Oh my god! But now look, I am now going out of. I'm sort of losing track of what I'm talking about. We're talking about the press conference. Um, Eric Ten Hag was always asking. The journalist asked him about the away record and the home record, and he kind of laughed about it. He was like, when we're winning at home, when we're when we're winning at home, nobody talks too much about it. And then we start to lose, then everybody's asking us that we don't have this. Then the away record is also bad. Then people are asking us. But when we start winning, people don't say anything. So it's just like, listen, we will improve. This has been consistent with the gaffer. He always says he will improve. I actually believe him. I believe him. I believe if Manchester United has all the players, if we have all our players there, I'm talking, and this is weird because we just mentioned Varane, and there's a possibility of Varane leaving in January. Like that's just how difficult this is to understand. Bayern Munich are looking into him. They want him. He might go. So that's the tricky part. But like I said, if we have our full starting lineup in, I'm talking Luke Shaw, Wan Bissaka in the on the wing backs, the Butcher, Varane, Onana. Then we have Casemiro, Amrabat, or Kobe Mainu, Bruno. Then on the wings, we've got Garnacho, Rashford, Hoyland. Like the front three, I cannot honestly say that we have got a best front three because this season they've not really shown, they've not really proved. But one thing I can say for sure is that Garnacho is in that front three. Hoyland too. Hoyland too, because he scored for us in the Champions League. Only in the Premier League where things are not clicking. But he scored some goals for us. He's even, I think, joint top goal scorer in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken, which is a big feat. So Garnacho, Hoyland. Now who's the other guy that you put into that front three? Rashford? With this form that he's in right now? I don't know. But like I said, the stronger United squad will actually yield better results. That is one thing I believe for sure. Because last season was the testimony was in last season. Last season we started off very, very rocky. We didn't have the players that we wanted. Slowly we started building momentum. Slowly we started building momentum. All of a sudden we're smacking teams left, right, and center, and everybody are now looking at. People were worried about Manchester United last season. They were like, where is this coming from? the gaffer was getting some sort of recognition. But then this season it's all gone to pop. We didn't start well. Same thing as last season. But there is a pattern. If we don't fix our issues during the summer when we have to, we are definitely going to be getting these kind of starts of the season. So I believe the gaffer is onto something. We might not like the football that we're playing currently, but that's just because we are still trying to figure ourselves out. We're still trying to figure out players. And I know it sounds very naive or like, wait, what do you mean we're still figuring ourselves out? But I can ask you right now, like, have you been comfortable? Have you been happy with our results? Yes, we're winning, but is it the united way of winning? Is it like last season? Are we smacking teams last season? Are we going into these fixtures confident? Because I'll sit here and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't feel confident going into these fixtures this season. I should emphasize on that. I've not been, because we've been smacked quite a few times and we've not looked our best. And I think we have sort of piecing together what went wrong during the preseason, start of the season. Players are complaining about too much game time. I don't know. The training is hard. I don't know. But we are starting to sort of get a picture of why we started off the way we did. The way we did. Now, if you're going to take and look into history, last season we started off bad. This season we started off bad. But look where we are. We are in what, six? And we are just sitting there saying, hey, everybody was thinking, yeah, top eight, bottom half, but hey, we're in the top six. Now, are we in the top six we are grinding out results. We are grinding out results. We are trying to work with what we have. A lot of the blames I always take it to the players. The manager can do, the manager can only do this much. He can get you there. He can get you to the place to drink water. But he can't sit there and start forcing you to drink water. He can't do that. He's giving you all the tools. He's giving you all the instructions. He's giving you everything that he wants you. He's giving you he's giving you the cheat code on how to go and beat the squad, because he has analyzed the squad. He has seen the weak points. He has seen everything. He's picking the squad based on your strengths, what you're giving, your form. Go out there, give the manager a reason to keep on backing. Give him. And these guys always go there and disappoint. I will say against Everton, it wasn't too bad the way we were playing. We could see what we were trying to do. I see it. It's just very, very small. Like the the changes are very minute, but they're there. They're there. You just need to pay attention. You just need to look at how the manager likes to set up his team, why he picks certain players. So some of you were wondering why Wan Bissaka didn't play. When I saw him, I was disappointed, but in my head, I was like, you know what? Maybe the gaffer's trying to have something in his locker. Because that Galatasaray game, Wan Bissaka is going to be very important because he's going to be dealing with Zaha or Ziyech. And the last game, Dalot was sent to the supermarket by Wilfred Zaha. They were attacking us on Dalot's side. So benching Wan Bissaka, in my mind, I'm feeling like this is going to be his game, the Galatasaray game, and I'm happy about that. Luke Shaw, Wan Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Lindelof. It's very difficult to say Varane because I've been picking Varane all this time, even in the app, picking him, thinking he would start. It doesn't start. So clearly there's something there. So it's going to be Maguire and Lindelof. In the midfield, I think he's going to go with the same midfield that he went with against Everton, Kobe, Scott McTominay, and Bruno. I do think, though, he might bring Amrabat into this equation for some sort of combativeness. Have Amrabat there with Kobe Mainu in that base working together with Amrabat's range of passing, even Mainu's range of passing, them being able to bully. You need combative players in that midfield. You do. You don't need a player that lets people in through like Scott McTominay does. I'm not saying that Scott McTominay is a bad player. Don't get me wrong. I love Scott McTominay. I love him for what he's doing. He's scoring us goals, and we love him because for at least now we are getting to see him being played in a position where we believe, you know what, playing Scott McTominay actually makes sense. Playing him up front in an advanced role makes sense. He is very clinical around the box. He is, I'm going to say something with my chest, but something that is going to be very unpopular. But I think in the Premier League, he's amongst the most clinical people in that around the box. I know that is a big statement to say. But when you look at what he brings, when you look at his qualities for Manchester United, those goals, those last minute, those runs at the back of the post, those runs where you don't think there's gonna be a header, Scott McTominay is in there, sliding, turning, putting in that goal, just kicking the ball, but with a vision, knowing where the posts are. Scott McTominay, I'm happy with him. I don't know how the gaffer is going to set up. I still trust Kobe Mainoo to be in that base there because that kid showed so much maturity against Everton. And um, I don't know if you could easily compare the intensity of Everton and Galatasaray, but Galatasaray have got players. They have got some serious players. They've got Cardi, Ziyech, Dries Mertens, Zaha. They've got players that are going to cause us problems, and we watched them in the previous game. But we need a win. We absolutely need a win. There is no other way to look at this. I I might be amongst those that is going to be upset if we lose, but that's just how it is. It's part of the game. We lose, get upset, go on these players, rip them apart. Next day, we're playing the next game. All that is forgiven. But then now I'm cautious because I'm like, listen, I don't want history to repeat itself. I don't want the same display against this. We don't want that. So it's going to be a very interesting game. It's a must-win game for us. Can I can't stress this. A draw, yes, if we draw, there might be a chance for us. But let me just shut that thing down. No draw. No draw. We were supposed to at least draw against Galatasaray the previous game and we lost. If we were not going to win that game, at least a draw would have done something. But we lost. So we need the points. We need the 3 points. And then against Bayern Munich, no, they're better than us, way better than us. But they're coming to Old Trafford. I hope by the time we get to that stage, we would have had more players back. There would have been more games under our belt, winning streak. I think when we take on Bayern Munich, it will be a very interesting game. And I think if we draw against Bayern Munich, I think that will be a chance for us to actually qualify. I don't know. I don't know because we'll have to see what happens with Galatasaray and Copenhagen. But against Bayern Munich, by the time we get there, a draw will suffice for us. But we need to win this game. There's no other way. There's no other way. We walk out of that game with a loss, it's a wrap. Now I have to just look at ourselves being in Europa, going to meet the Scousers. Yeah? Who wants to go and meet the Scousers? Like, yo, they're there. The Scousers are there. Liverpool is in the Europa League. And Liverpool, when we take into consideration the form, they're a little bit stronger than us. So are we going to go into this now thinking, I know that was a bit of a waste, but because we play against Liverpool, it's always a derby, whether we meet them. But there are strong teams in Europa as well. And if we drop down to Europa, are we winning it? Because we're supposed to win it. Last season, was it last season or previous season? Quarterfinal? Semi-final? Quarterfinal? Yeah. I think we dropped out in the quarterfinals. Previous season, I think we made it to the final or semi-final, something. Ole, we've just not won it. So if we drop into the Europa League, for me, my expectations are to win. Because I don't see the point. I don't see the point of us not trying to, what's the point of us losing this game, go to the Europa, and then lose the Europa? What's the point? We might as well win this game, fight for Champions League spot, get into the last 16, and then push and see how far we get. And then we take that as a base, use that platform to use that, we use that base saying, okay, this season in the Champions League, we made it to the quarterfinal or we made it to the semi-final. Next season, we need to build from there. You know what I mean? We need to build from there. How do we build from there? We need to invest in certain players. We need to do this. Once we have a vision, I think it will make more sense. But right now, we don't. We're buying players that we don't need, putting players here, putting players there, because every competition we're just going in there thinking that, you know what, yeah, when we get into this competition, we'll play as much as we can. If we get knocked out, we get knocked out. Nah, that's not the mentality. That's not the mentality that we need. Going to these competitions, you're playing in these competitions, you go there with the mentality to win. That's the Manchester United way. Oh, sorry, I'm sweating. It's sizzling here in Tanzania. But yeah, we need to win this game. I can't stress it enough. I can't. So I'm expecting big performances from the guys. I hope the gaffer is going to speak to these guys and explain to them. In fact, he doesn't really need to explain to these guys because they need to know. They need to know that this game is important. We don't win this game, we're going to the Europa League. No, we're going to be playing Thursday night football. Who wants Thursday? Like we've been having Thursday night football for years. Sick and tired of it because you know what happens Thursday night football? It makes us play on Sunday. Then we play on Sunday. Every weekend we're playing on Sunday. Why? Late because nah. I like the sun. I'm enjoying the Saturday games, early kickoff. You know, we win, we lose, we get that out of the way. The players know that okay, we're moving on to the next. So that's what we need. But other than that, it was a very good press conference. I know I didn't say too much about what was going on there because I felt like we need to talk about the team and a lot of the things that are going on right now. And I was just giving you a glimpse onto what the manager is thinking. The mood looks good. The gaffer looks like he's pumped. He looks happy. The way I saw him, it looked like it looked like the gaffer looked like he was excited about what he wants to display. You know, almost like he had this smile. I can't explain it. And I'm probably the only person that watches press conferences like this. I watch body language. Bruno looks like he's gone on a mission, looks very serious. Um, but the gaffer was more light-hearted. You know, he was very. There was even a time when they asked Bruno about the penalty kicking, and he was like, "There are two people. Rashford can take. I can take. It's all about the team. You put it in, cool." But then the gaffer jumped in and said that yes, I do trust these guys. Um, they're two players, but then they need to make sure that they score. You know that kind of thing. So I really liked his energy. He was serious, but then at the same time, you could tell that he was lighthearted, and we need that because for me, that's how I go into these games. I look at the manager; he looks calm, he looks chilled, he looks happy. Not happy, but you know, he's in a good mood, and I take that as the energy being passed down to the rest of the squad. You understand? That's how I feel. So when I see the manager happy in good mood, I believe that the players are in a good mood. And I'm just excited to see what we're going to do against Galatasaray. I don't want to jump in and say my prediction, but I think I will give prediction to this game. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win to us in Galatasaray. I know with all that smoke and all those sort of hooligan looking fans, it is going to be scary. I hope our boys bring in their A game, you know, because it's important. It's really, really important. And yeah, let's go for the win. Let's go for the win. Let's go for the win. We are changing. Every team is going through the same thing that we are going through. Fortunately for us, happened very early, and we are in the process of recovery. Players are coming back. So this can only be a good thing for us. Let's stop moaning and complaining about who's not there. Nah, let's do. The gaffer picks the players. He understands football more than we do. So he's there, sitting there watching and looking at these players train every day. And he knows that this player is like this player is like this player does this player does this. For this game, I want this player to do this. I want this player to do this. I wouldn't be surprised if Facundo plays. I wouldn't. Because that boy, I don't know. There's something about him. something about Facundo. I love him. I love him. He he's an old school right winger. Yeah, let me say that. Old school right winger. I think that's why I'm really into him because I like how he just takes the ball, takes players on, has got pace. When he's in that byline, cuts in or takes on a defender, draws a foul. I love it. Puts in a cross. He's always looking to assist. I love that. I love that. We've been lacking that for a very, very long time with our senior players, be it Rashford, be it Anthony. We've not had that. So I like to see these youngsters. And fortunately and unfortunately for us, Rashford is not going to play this game. He got a red. So he's suspended. I don't want to say it is a good thing, but it is because Rashford is just not ticking. Now, until he starts actually firing in these goals, will I start having this trust in him? I know he scored his goal, and I know what Bruno said. I know that he's saying that was it's a catalyst to probably speed up him getting his form back or getting that sense of the goal back. But I believe that he needs to watch. Him being on the bench, like him being suspended, is good because you get there, he will see, and it will even be even better if we go and smack Galatasaray and our wingers, these two youngsters, are doing the business. It will be absolutely perfect. It will be a teaching moment for Rashford because not even a teaching moment. It's going to be like he's hungry. He needs to be there. He needs to get in there and fight for his position. I really want these young. Like, if I was to pick my squad, my front three: Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, and Facundo Pelestri. I know you're sitting here, you might not even trust these youngsters, but I do because they're gonna do. They're going to give Rasmus the. They're going to deliver. Yeah, they are going to assist him. They're going to deliver him. Deliver the balls to him. Meaning, they're going to assist him. You know what I mean? So If I had it my way, that's the starting lineup, the front three that I would have. Let those senior players sit back, look at them, and say, "What is it that I'm not doing? Am I just getting too much in my head?" Because sometimes the best lesson is to watch a kid. Ever seen a kid school you on something? Let a fifth grade tell you something about something you as an adult supposed to know. Let them school you. You feel embarrassed. You feel like, wait, how is this even happening? How is this toddler understanding this thing? Nah, shame on me. So I'm assuming, I hope, because I think me as a football player, back in my days when I was playing this, if that happened to me, that was just only going to fuel the fire in me. I would have been mad. I would have been like, listen, the next game, if the gaffer just trusts and puts me in, I'm killing these people. I'm killing them. I'm scoring. I'm scoring banger after banger. So I'm assuming and hoping that's the reaction that's going to happen. But again, you can never understand with the new generation of players. I don't know what's really going on with Rashford. I don't know. We tend to equate his dip in performances, or we sort of correlate them with something that's happening in his personal life. Personal life. It tends to be the reason. Some of these players, when something is happening in their life, their performances go down. I'm not saying that that's what's happening with Rashford. We haven't heard any stories that this is what's happening, but I believe there's something going on in the background with Marcus Rashford, and it needs to be addressed. They need to talk about it. They need to talk to his boy, talk to his captain, talk to Maguire, talk to Luke Shaw, talk to I don't know, Casemiro, Varane. Open up, try and see what's going on because I believe there's a serious issue going on with Rashford, and until he starts scoring goals, we're going to be in trouble. So yeah, that's it for the match preview. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching our episode. Um, my boy couldn't join us because he did our match reaction. So I said, listen, man, let me do the match preview. You know what I mean? So, but we will be back soon. catch us on all social media platforms. And if you're watching our YouTube and if you like our content, I know we don't have so many videos, but if you like our content, please hit the notification, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and just wait for our content. And please join our community. We are on WhatsApp, we have a Glory Reds community where we are always, during the match, we're always talking about what's going on. Join us, catch us on Facebook, Instagram, all podcast platforms. Check us, we are there. And yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.